What's up guys, welcome back to another video, hope you're all doing well today. We are back on some MX bikes today, and a track that I'm very excited to cover actually. This is the 2011 Parlour National. This is made by 3F Dirtworks. Now, that was a new name to me at first. I don't recall ever seeing a track or riding a track from them previously. However, I did load up their profile on the mod site, and they released one before. It looks like it was a custom type track, like local style, one that I hadn't ridden, so this is my first experience of their tracks, and just going off the pictures and the comments that everyone's leaving on the thread, all looks like really positive stuff. And first thing I thought of as soon as I saw that this had been posted was, I hope that it can be used for a future MX season, because I feel like the last few seasons, when we get to outdoors, we've ridden just the same tracks over and over again, because there hasn't been many tracks that can really hold that sort of event. So I'm quite hopeful for this so far, and I'm on the on the 2009 YZ450 today, and I was going to try and see if I could find a bike that was 2011 just to match the track, and I thought that'd be quite a nice idea, but alas, I don't think there's any that existed, so this was as close to 2011 as I could get. But I do, so this is essentially is the 450 version of my old 250 that I used to have. I used to have the 2009 YZ250F, and really love that bike. But guy, I feel like they just feel like dinosaurs nowadays compared to what we have in terms of just tech on the bike. You know, not being like all being fuel injected now rather than carbureted, and it's quite crazy thinking of how far the technology has come for motocross bikes in general. And I feel like we're at that point now where how much more really can we do? I know F1's in that similar sort of space where it's just like trying to find the most minuscule advantage you can, and I know with all the electric bikes looming over the horizon, it does make me wonder what the future of motocross is going to be like. And one thing that I thought was quite cool in the post of this, the thread of this track, 3F has kind of detailed how the real life race went in both motos, and I had a quick skim through, and I don't ever recall even watching this race. I mean, how long ago? So it was 11 years ago at this point. I would have been 15 years old, and I don't know how heavy I was into the AMA side of things at that point in my life. I was riding bikes, of course, but I don't think I did a whole lot in terms of watching the actual pros. But it seems like it was quite a good year for motocross, really. I mean, so from what I've read, it looks like Villopoto won his first 450 title at this track, so really cool. And I always love Villo. I've always been a fan of Villopoto. Love his work ethic. If you haven't watched that documentary on RV, highly recommend doing so. Really good video. And I also think this was the year that Dino won his 250 title as well, which is really cool. And it's always sad knowing what Dino used to be compared to now, and he's just not quite ever reached that same form on the 450. And I mean, I don't know how you can not like Dino. I think the only thing that he's got going against him was that time really that he held up Roxon as a lapper and cost Roxon the win. But other than that, he's absolutely solid guy. And obviously I'm a bit biased being from the UK as well. Everyone from the UK loves Dino, but I've done a lap now already. That was quite a short lap. Oh, hang on. 5 minutes? Oh, okay. No, never mind. I remember now. I was sitting on the gate for ages before I started recording whilst I was doing something on my computer, and I was like, why on earth does it say 5 minutes 34 for my first sector time at the top left there? But that's understandable. I'm hoping that all of the timing gates and stuff on this track work as they should do. This is a crash. Oh, my goodness. Because, as I say, I would love for this to become a track that we actually get to race on and do championships on. I know that TFC is working on a whole bunch of the Nationals tracks. I want to say they're 2020 versions. I don't believe any of them are finished, and I think he's working on them all at the same time, so I believe they'll all be released at a similar time to each other, rather than completing one then starting the next one and so on and so forth. It's been a while, and I don't really keep too up to date on the progress as such, but I expect that if you're working on all of them together, then it's going to take a lot longer than releasing them one by one. Kind of like how Stone Rider does at the moment for the Aerial Supercross Championship. He does one, completes it, posts it onto the next one, and that kind of works when you're doing it on like a week by week basis. Obviously, Nationals has got to be a hell of a lot more difficult to replicate and pump out consistent content than Supercross. I imagine on Supercross, once you've got your like templates down, if you're making it in Photoshop Photoshop, for example, once you've got your jump and your corner templates down, and you know your sizing, I'm going to say this, so I'm going to sound quite ignorant and say it, it shouldn't take too long to kind of put it all together. The height map and stuff is probably, for track makers, the easiest bit. It's then getting the environment and the timing and all of that stuff that you really don't pay much attention to when you're riding the track that takes the longest, especially with the environment as well. The environment to me makes such a huge difference on tracks, and it's something that not a lot of people pay attention to, but it just adds to that overall feeling of being like immersed in the game. And I say that, I believe I crossed the finish line earlier. I have a lap time that counts, so that is a positive start. Although saying that, I've not ridden it online yet. I'm not sure if there's any issues with like cuts and stuff online. Oh god, I didn't mean to triple that. Oh my, there's got to be a crash here surely. Oh my lord, hang on. I need to see how hard my suspension just compressed there. Let me go back and I'll slow it down a little bit, see if I can slow down the landing. Oh, I need to zoom in more. I was hoping that the free camera would be a bit better than that. So let's move over here, and we'll zoom in on him right there, and zoom in a bit more. Right, slow it down. See what this impact was like. Oh god, yeah, that's that's some new suspension needed. That's ridiculous. And MX Bike's bounce doing its usual thing there. Hello, can I get back on track? There we go, thank you. Right, spin her around, and we're off again. So, I'm feeling a little bit rusty, I'll be honest with you boys. I'm recording this not long after yesterday's video that you saw on the, what's it called? Coastal Park MX, made by Higo. And yeah, just trying to get a little bit of a flow going. I thought I'd quickly do this before the aerial live stream starts, because God knows I need the practice. I'm crossing my fingers. I love when I record videos talking about the aerial supercross race before the race has happened, because then people probably watch the live stream for the race, know how I've done, and then watch this video back, and I'm probably being all like positive, hoping that it goes really well, and you probably find the race just went absolutely terrible. It can't get any better than round 5. Round 5 was as good of a race as you can ever hope for, so I just need to hope that round 6 goes smoothly as well. And my goal in the race will be exactly the same as is in all of the supercross races I do, where it's just try and get as good a start as possible. It tends to be a bit hit and miss in Supercross. Sometimes you need to get lucky, sometimes you do get really unlucky and get flung halfway across the track, across like 2 other lanes, and there's only so much you can do with the MX Bike's netcode, for example, and when you're riding around a bunch of other people, again, there's only so much you can do. You can't control everybody else on the track, you can just do your bit to try and avoid the carnage. But that is always my goal, is avoid the carnage, not necessarily be the fastest person on the track, but certainly try and be the most consistent. And it's done me well so far. At this point, before round 6, I know this is all ahead of time in hindsight as well, but before yesterday's live stream, at the point of watching this video, I am 21 points out in front, I believe. Been quite lucky actually. Like Jack, who I consider my main rival, I don't know if rival's the right word to use, main competitor, I think that might be the better word to use for this series, he's DNF'd 2 races, and I believe round 5 he DNF'd because he was genuinely busy, he had to go do some things, and I can't remember what happened before that. I'm not sure if it was a rage quit or again he was busy, but I've been quite fortunate in how these races have gone so far, and to have a 21-point lead by the end of round 5 is really, really good. So fingers crossed that we can keep hold of that red plate tonight. I mean, ideal world, well, if we're being realistic, the only way I don't come out of round 6 with the red plate still was if I just failed to make the race. There's no reason why I shouldn't be able to get at least the top, was it? I don't know, like top 18 or something in the actual race. I'd have to be pretty down bad for that to happen. But regardless, I want to drop as little points as possible. I'd love to drop none. I'd love to extend the lead even further and have like a full race buffer. That'd be the dream, because then it'd take a whole lot of pressure off each race. And I've mentioned it before, but I'd be quite interested to see what my riding / speed and consistency and everything was like if I wasn't live streaming it at the same time, because I feel like live streaming and talking at the same time as racing, 100% it takes away some of your speed and your concentration, because you're having to do multiple things at once. I generally would love to know how I'd be doing if I wasn't recording at all, but you guys aren't going to get to see and enjoy that otherwise. And I quite like the interaction part of it. It's very, very nice being able to have like a consistent streaming schedule. I was so bad in the past for of streaming inconsistently. I'd leave like a month apart between streams, and I'd always feel bad. Because it is the best chance to kind of get a bit closer to you guys, get to know you guys, and I always see familiar faces in there. We've always got the select few people that turn up no matter what, and it's really good for channel growth as well, actually. Like, the amount of subs that I seem to gain on a day where I stream compared to a normal day is usually like at least double the amount, so really positive stuff, and there's always good incentives to do so. I enjoy them. It brings you a bit more of an insight as to how the nights run, as far as like quote-unquote professional races. I don't like using the term pro nowadays. I feel like it's a bit weird saying pro in bikes. But yeah, for those of you that don't usually get to race, it's quite nice to show you that side of things. Of course, I would say that if you want to watch the race from more of like a spectator's point of view, in terms of like real life, for example, where you get to see the overview of everything and not just watching my own board, then Smokey streams 250s, Fox streams 450s, so the option is there if you don't want to just watch my on board of the 450 racing. But some people do seem to enjoy it, and it's been better than I expected so far this year, that's for sure. Last season I tried 450s, and I think I had to drop down to 250s after like the first 4 or 5 rounds because I was just riding absolutely terrible. I'm not sure what it was. I don't know if it's just because I wasn't used to 450s enough or what, but for whatever reason, I couldn't be consistent at all. And I feel like that's something that I've really tried working on for this season, and it's doing me really well, is just give up a bit of speed, try and be more consistent, and you'll reap the reward. Oh, there we go. You'll reap the rewards, is what I was trying to say before getting all sorts of squirrely. This track, I'm still getting squirrely. This track is actually really well done. 3F, you have done a really good job here. Granted, I don't know all of the ins and outs of all the different parlour layouts over the years. I'm sure that you hardcore fans, and most importantly the Americans watching this video, would be able to tell me just how good of a job he's done here in terms of a replica. If the only hole I could pick in it a little bit is maybe a little bit more rough, because it does seem to be a little bit kind of wide open at the moment, and I know the masses will like that, and I'm a little bit weird like that, where I do like the more of a challenge on my tracks. But overall, it's really, really good. It flows well. That's the most important thing. And there seems to be multiple viable lines in each corner. You can go inside, you can go outside, and they all seem to work out at a pretty similar speed to each other. Timing gates work, which again is a very, very important thing. And overall, it'll just be nice to see if this track gets picked up and used in the upcoming National Championship. I mean, I hope there's going to be a National Championship. I know, I feel like a lot of the race organisers nowadays, they're a little bit burnt out on bikes where it's been going for X amount of years, but I feel like there's always going to be somebody that will be able to pick it up and learn it and host it for us. So I don't see it dying anytime soon. Although I have noticed there does seem to be a bit of a decline in terms of player base since beta 17 dropped, and it's definitely disappointing to see from my point of view, where I actually still really enjoy the game. I like the new traction, but it seems like the masses aren't of that same opinion, which I get. I know a lot of you you hop on this game to just have as much fun as you can, you know, throw it sideways, go as fast as possible, but then you do have to also remember that at the end of the day, you are buying a beta game that is trying to replicate a simulator. And whilst it's not quite to the extent of the MX simulator is in terms of the realism side of things, you do have to remember that it is still trying to be a simulator at the end of the day. It's not like the Monster Energy Supercross games or MXGP, for example, where it is meant to be more arcadey. So you always have to take it with a little bit of pinch of salt. I'm going to try and send this one more time. Can I quad it this time? Get over it. Oh, God, that was not a nice noise. But I think that'll do it for me. I actually really look forward to... I'm hoping that he's going to do some more replicas at 3F. This is actually a really, really enjoyable track. And when I saw that it was only the second track that you've ever released, I was kind of hesitant, because it's always hit and miss when you get like new creators such as yourself releasing these things. But no, really, really good job, really solid work. The only thing I did have in mind, but I remember that I saw a comment of, is to my memory, Parlour is a bit more of a light coloured dirt rather than dark, but I did see someone leave that exact same comment in the thread, and I saw you responded with it kind of messes up. It's harder to kind of see where you're at, like the ruts and the bumps and stuff kind of all blend into each other with that lighter dirt, so that is a good reason as any, I suppose, to change the colour. But yeah, good track. Really, really impressive stuff. Go and download it if you guys haven't already. And I think that'll do it from me. I hope you have a lovely rest of the day, whatever it is you guys are up to. If you're new to the channel, please do drop a sub, helps me out greatly. And like the video as well if you did enjoy. And until I catch you in the next video, peace.
My tent way too damn dark, laugh in your face like man dark. Came a long way from the bad days way back, had to burn down that landmark. Seen some things I ain't really want to see, it's all good, that's what made me me. Now who would I be if I had it easy? Used to break down, now I'm in a 350, like whoa. I've been laying way too low, had to switch up and change my flow, cause I'm back from the block, had to bust the rocks and dust off the dust to get back in the box. Now why you wanna